I was at an idyllic women's writing retreat. I spent my days in a charming cabin surrounded by trees, kept warm by a little wood stove. As I looked out the window to the giant evergreens surrounding my cabin, I was supposed to feel the spark of inspiration. But I wasn't feeling inspired yet. This setting was quite a change for someone like me. A single mom of 2 boys, used to riding over the din of crashes and bangs and shouts and her own attention deficit disorder. I had adapted to being creative, even with a teenage boy regularly interrupting to tell me that he needed more snacks, and yes, was still incapable of finding them himself. But this writing retreat was designed to get women away from the cries of "Mom" or "Honey" that so often compete for our brain space. We were supposed to be honoring our creativity by giving it the time and space it deserved. No children, no men, no internet, no television. So we worked each day in solitude, and then every evening at around 6 p.m., all 5 of us writers would leave our individual cabins and gather for dinner in the main farmhouse. Over a lovingly prepared meal made with vegetables freshly pulled from the farmhouse garden, we would discuss our writing projects, asking each other questions and offering support and encouragement. We talked about the work we were doing, the books we were writing, the plays we wanted to write. We floated ideas, asked for advice about agents and editors. We laughed and drank wine. But more than anything, we talked about men. Not our partners or friends or brothers. We talked about shitty dudes. And even though we came from diverse racial, ethnic, and socioeconomic backgrounds, we all had plenty of dudes to talk about. We talked about the white men in publishing who were constantly devaluing our work. We talked about the male writers who would grab your ass at book fairs or offer to give you feedback on your work and then try to sleep with you. We talked about how much time we had spent writing about shitty white dudes. Because if we weren't writing about the president, we were writing about how men without uteruses should not control our reproductive choices, or about how rapists should actually go to jail for rape, even if they were gifted athletes. Every evening, we would come together and talk about how we were trying to write and live in a world run by men who seemed pretty determined to stop us from having a voice, from experiencing success, from having our own free and independent lives. And I know this isn't a problem that's particular to the writing industry. I've participated in similar conversations when I worked in advertising and when I worked in tech. These are conversations, I'm sure, that women find themselves having in just about any job they have, in every school they attend, and in every community where they live. There is an abundance of bad guys to be found just about everywhere, and we can't seem to stop talking about them. Works according to design. This is a comment that I and many of my fellow racial justice commentators have made when truly horrible things happen, just as they were intended to. A police officer shot an unarmed black man, and a grand jury decided that the officer didn't even need to face trial. Works according to design. A kid of color selling weed will be sentenced to years in prison, while a wealthy white man receives house arrest for a second DUI. Works according to design. Although the phrase may seem alarmingly cold-hearted, it is our way of reminding ourselves that the greatest evil we face is not ignorant individuals, but our oppressive systems. It is a reminder that the deaths of Trayvon Martin and Sandra Bland are not isolated cases. It is a reminder to refuse to let our shock and outrage distract us into thinking that these incidents do not all stem from the same root source, which must be dismantled. That source is white male supremacy.